You expect me to believe that, kid? The officer's laughter was harsh and mocking as he towered over 13-year-old Malik, gripping the boy's wrist tightly. Red and blue lights flashed across the quiet streets of Maple Ridge, a suburban neighborhood that rarely saw this kind of tension. Behind closed curtains, neighbors peeked through blinds, their voices hushed under the low hum of the patrol car's idling engine. Malik didn't flinch. He stood tall, his chin raised, voice calm but firm. "My dad's in Special Forces," he said. "He'll be here any second." The officer scoffed, shaking his head. "Yeah, sure he is." What he didn't know was that in less than 60 seconds, everything would change. His smirk would vanish, his grip would falter, and the man stepping into view would make him regret every word. Malik had heard it all before. "You don't belong here. Where'd you steal that bike from?" But this time was different. He was simply riding home from his after-school basketball training when the cruiser pulled up and boxed him in. The officer claimed Malik matched the description of a robbery suspect. Malik knew the script. Stay calm, be respectful, don't give them a reason. But when the officer mocked his mention of his father, something inside him bristled. His dad wasn't just another soldier. He was the kind of man who operated in shadows until the moment came to stand in the light. The officer's radio crackled. He reached for his handcuffs. "Let's take a ride downtown, kid," he muttered. "We'll sort this out." Malik's stomach tightened. He knew exactly what sorting it out meant. Then came the sound of screeching tires. A black SUV came to a sudden stop behind the patrol car. The officer spun, his hand hovering near his holster. The SUV's door opened, and boots hit the pavement with deliberate force. Out stepped a tall, commanding figure dressed in civilian clothes but carrying the energy of authority. Shoulders squared, posture sharp, his gaze locked onto the scene. Malik finally let out the breath he'd been holding. "Yeah." The officer stiffened. "Sir, this is police business." "No," the man replied. "Your business is harassing my son." His voice was low but carried the weight of a brewing storm. Another officer, sensing the shift in power, stepped forward. "We had a report of a stolen bike," he offered. The kid matched the description. Malik's father didn't blink. "Description?" He pulled a badge-sized ID from his wallet, raising it high. The polished surface glinted under the streetlights. A military insignia, a name, a rank. "You want to run mine too?" he asked. The first officer's face turned pale. Silence blanketed the street. Even the distant hum of the SUV's engine seemed to fade. "Look," the cop stammered. "We were just..." "Just what?" Malik's father stepped forward. "Teaching my son another lesson about what the world thinks he is?" Malik felt the pressure in his chest, the tightness, the stares, the way his father's jaw clenched to contain his fury. "There's no need for this to escalate," the officer murmured, raising his hand slightly. "You're right," Malik's father said, voice cold and clear. "So uncuff my son, now." A long pause. Then, reluctantly, the officer reached out with stiff fingers and released the cuffs. As the patrol car backed away, Malik sagged slightly, the tension draining from his shoulders. His father placed a steady hand on his back. "You okay?" Malik nodded, though his voice came out quiet. "Why is it always like this?" His father didn't answer right away. Then, with a quiet strength, he said, "Because some people need proof before they offer respect. But you don't owe them that." They walked home in silence, the streetlights flickering above them. The night air was thick with everything unspoken. But Malik understood. His father's strength wasn't just in his title or his training. It was in how he stood tall, silent and unbroken, no matter how the world tried to bend him.